Hi, and welcome to my channel where I love to do all types of DIYs, everything from home updating projects to budget-friendly DIY home decor. If these are things you're interested in, then I hope you will consider hitting that subscribe button and become part of my DIY family. Okay, so I got this candlestick all cleaned up, and I just used Dawn dishwashing soap and cleaned it up really well. And I'm going to go ahead and give it a coat of paint with the Fluff by Dixie Belle. Okay, so I've got 2 coats of the chalk paint on here, and now it's time to distress it. Okay, so I'm just going to wet me down paper towel. You can use a baby wipe if you've got that. I don't have any baby wipes that are wet anyway. Mine all dried out. And I'm going to take some of this. Hopefully I don't regret this. Okay, so my goal here is to give it a wood look. And I'm going to apply that Waverly antiquing wax with a chippy brush. And then once I get that on, I'm going to wipe most of it off, trying to get down there in those little grooves because I don't want too much of that wax sitting in those grooves. And then I'm just going to work my way up in sections. That way that wax doesn't have time to dry. And now this is my first time trying it this way with just one color paint, or in this case wax, and I just wanted to see if I could do a wood look finish without mixing a bunch of different colors. And this actually turns out very pretty in the end. This video doesn't do it any justice. I hope you guys will give this a try because it's really beautiful, and it looks like it was made like that. And I wanted to show the whole process, even though I did speed it up some. If some of you guys don't want to see the whole process, then feel free to skip ahead. Please don't exit the video, just keep watching. That way you can see how beautiful these projects turned out. And if you agree, give me a thumbs up button and comment down below and let me know which one of these 3 thrift flips was your favorite. So again, just keep watching. And also, at some of the end of my videos, I will have a blooper of something that did not go right with my crafting or DIYing. And I do have one at the end of this video, so stay tuned and check that out. It's sure to give you a laugh. So since wood isn't the same color throughout, it has its variances, I went ahead and took some more of that wax and just applied it in different sections. And then I would wipe it away with the dry spot of my towel, and I would do that very lightly. And this is just going to give it more depth and an appearance of looking like wood. I'm going to take a clean chippy brush, just kind of get down in those ridges because I don't want them too dark in those ridges where all that wax is settling into. So I'm just going to kind of wipe that out with this brush, this clean chippy brush. taking this clean brush, just buffing out any harsh edges like I got right there, and just using this cleaner brush. It's just going to kind of help buff those out. You got to work quicker than normal, because you don't want that paint or that wax to dry before you have a chance to get it looking the way you want. That looks so pretty. It's giving it that natural wood look, and I love it. A lot of times I feel like I have too many white things in my house, so I got to find a way to contrast that. Now I'm just going to take what's left on the wax brush and not wipe it off, just kind of blend it in with my dryer brush. And I think that's perfect, so I'm going to stop right there. All right, so I've got that finished, and now I'm going to accessorize it. And I have got one of these that I picked up from the Dollar Tree, the floral foam, in this kind of shape here. But I am going to cut it in half. I might need something a little sharper. Smooth that out. All right, and this actually fits in this candle cup really perfectly, so don't need to use any glue, and that way I can change it out as I feel fit. And I've been contemplating on how I want to decorate it. I have a candle that I do want to sit on top of it. And I have all kinds of florals over here, just kind of trying to figure out what I want it to look like. And sometimes this is just the fun of DIYing, or sometimes headache, because sometimes it's just hard to make up your mind. And I thought, if I had some greenery like laying down off of it would be pretty. And then I thought, well, if I took some lavender picks and kind of, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut some of these lavender stems off. These I had picked up from Walmart. I think this time of year is time to get them. They had a whole bunch when I went, so I grabbed a few. And once we got those stems clipped off, I'm going to put them into the foam, as you can see right here, and just stick them in, trying to avoid sticking them in on the bottom. And what I mean by that is if they go into the bottom, then you're not going to get a very stable placement and it'll be wobbly. So you just kind of want to push them straight inward. And I'm just trying to space them out as evenly as possible. That way we can go back in and fill it in. It just makes it a little bit more pleasing to the eye. And I did end up using almost 3 lavender bundles. My mom had I've got some of these darker lavender ones. I do not know where she got them from. My guess would be Temu, but that's just a guess. But they're a darker purple, so I think I'm going to go ahead and use some of these as well. And I'm just going to stick those in between the other lavender pieces just to give it a little variation in color. And once I get all of those in there, I don't believe I show it, but I will kind of fan those branches down just so they appear like they're hanging a little bit more.
Okay, so to disguise some of this foam, I'm just going to use some reindeer moss, and I'm going to hot glue some of the reindeer moss onto the foam. I've got my finger protectors, so I'm going to go ahead and take that out, and then just kind of around the edges here, hot glue some of that on there. And I'm going to get me a silicone mat, and I get to use my brand new hot glue gun that I got since mine had blown up on my last video. So this is my very first stick. I'll just kind of trim some of this off. Any that's sticking out too far. Oh, just be careful. Put your finger protectors on. Use a silicone spatula because that glue is hot. All right, and set that back on there. Push it in. Oh, that Spanish moss is hiding that floral foam, and you will see it better in the final reveal, which is coming up here in just a second. But this one is complete. Okay, so once we got the bird cage all cleaned up, I've got a fresh coat of white paint over it. I am going to do a little bit of a distressing, but I want some gray distressing, so I'm going to use Elephant by Waverly chalk paint.
So I'm not going to show you all of me distressing this. I just went over all the high points, just giving it some depth with that distressing, bringing out some of those beautiful designs on the bird cage. And so I just go around it, distressing the top with the bird, and you just distress it however much you want, if any at all.
All right, so I've got some of this pool noodle. I'm going to cut it down. I'm just going to use this little saw I got from the Dollar Tree. Thinking about that much. I might cut it in half. Now I am going to try to avoid gluing stuff down. That way I can change stuff out. And if I do use any glue, it'll be just a dab just small enough that I know I can tear back up when I'm ready to. All right, and I've got one of these little risers from the Dollar Tree. Just going to place that in there. Then I'm going to take some of these flowers I had picked up at Hobby Lobby. I'm going to trim off the stems of these. And just start poking the flowers into that pool noodle.
And I just could not believe how well this pool noodle ended up working in this bird cage. I'm just so glad I thought about it. But it does. It's perfect. And you just stick those flowers in any way that you see fit. And when cutting those stems, if you cut it at an angle to give it a little sharper end, it'll stick in a lot easier.
And I'll just take some of the other little pieces and kind of put it in between some more little white flowers. I've also got some of these that I picked up from Hobby Lobby, and they're just called Floral. They were $8.99 plus 40% off, so not too bad of a deal. Got some of these white flowers we can use as some fillers. If you ever have a piece and you got a piece of this extra stem, just put it together. Like so. You can just kind of use that to go in between. Kind of like so. I've got some of these white flowers and they're on a real flimsy stem, so I'm going to just put them on one of the ones I clipped off. All right, look how pretty that looks. And you can do this with any kind of flower. You can just stick to greenery. But with it being springtime, I just wanted some color. And now to disguise the bottom, I'm just going to put some floral moss down there. Or some Spanish moss. Just move that around to get all that pool noodle covered up. And then I've got this little bird I had picked up from Hobby Lobby that I want to use in there. Actually, I got another one. Yeah, this one right here. That is so pretty. Maybe the other one. Let's see. If I didn't have that pool noodle in there. Oh yeah, the other one looks like it's just laying in a nest. Okay, so I'm going to take these ones I got from Hobby Lobby. I'm going to trim those off. I do believe I'm going to want these to stand up. Yeah, just to give it some height. And you'll be able to see it better in the final. All right, and it needs one more thing. I had gotten some of these butterflies from Amazon, and I'll put that link in the description box. And that's because I have a bunch of projects in the near future, and we're going to be doing some butterflies. But I'm going to go ahead and open this now. And this comes with seven different color assortments of butterflies. And I believe for the one that we're on, I think I'm going to do the purple. Oh, and that is so cool. They have little magnets on them. So if you're sticking them to a metal, you don't need any adhesive. And I did not know that when I got this. But oh my goodness, look. Perfect. Oh, those are so pretty. I believe I'm going to stop right there. It gives me just enough of what I'm looking for. Not too many butterflies, just enough to feel the spring in the air. But you'll be able to see that a little bit better in this final coming up right now. Okay, so I've got this all cleaned, and again, I just used some Dawn dish liquid soap. And as much as I think this is pretty in itself, I want to change it up a little bit. Not really feeling the winery vibes it's got going on, but I mean, I do think it's pretty. And but I love the shape. I love the shape. And I think this is like replicated off of a Biscotti jar, which I guess here in the USA we call it a cookie jar, but I think Biscotti jar's got quite a ring to it. All right, well, I've got some 180 grit sandpaper. I'm just going to use this to just kind of scuff it up because it does have a very shiny and smooth surface. So I want to make sure this paint's going to stick well since I'm not going to use a spray paint. All right, and for my base layer, I'm going to be using Fluff by Dixie Belle. And you know, Plaster and Waverly is real close to the same color. So you could, you know, if you want to get the same look that I'm going for with mine, that would be a good option. Because I know this Dixie Belle does tend to run a little higher. And the only reason I have it was for my hutch makeover. But it is a really, really nice chalk paint. Just kind of has a little bit of a smell to it. I think I'm going to spray this down with some alcohol. Just make sure I've got all my bases covered. So this is a step I usually do anyway. Okay, so I've got about 3 coats on this. And I believe that's going to do it. Now, when you use chalk paint, a lot of times you can get these little raised bumps that may not feel so even. If that bothers you, you can take a fine grit sandpaper, and I've got a 400 here, and lightly sand over it once it's completely dry. Because if it's not completely dry, then it's just going to pull that paint completely off.
And then just make sure to wipe off that dust.
I'm going to want to do a different paint color up in there. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and see how I like it with the mineral. Okay, this is just a paint sample I had, and it's in Stone Hearth, which is a Sherwin-Williams paint color. I'm going to see if I like this shade. No, I think it's really close to it's a little more taupey. So maybe I will like that a little better. I'm going to give that a try. Yeah, so this one's a little more, has more taupe than it has gray in it. So I like that a little better. So if you've got a paint color that's got a little more taupe in it, that'd be perfect. I think I'm going to paint the handles the same color.
And then I'm also going to go around the top rim with the same paint color. And then on the lid, I'm just going to paint the handle part. And then I'll just do some touch-ups with the Fluff paint color.
Okay, so I was going to Mod Podge, but once I got this color put on, that Stone Hearth color, which I believe might be a Benjamin Moore color. I just have it in the Valspar paint sample, which I picked up from Lowe's, and which they're pretty inexpensive. And this is going to last quite a while. And mine is in the satin, which I believe is what the samples come in, as a satin anyway. But after I got the trim all painted up, and I started looking at what I was going to decoupage on, I'm not liking it. And then I remembered I had picked up some stamps from the Dollar Tree to try out. And so I believe this one, it's got this really pretty like flower. I believe that will look really pretty on there. So I am going to give these stamps a try. Like I said, got it from the Dollar Tree, and the last time I was in there, they actually had more stamps. So if this works out well, because being quite honest with you, I have never stamped anything before. I haven't even opened up my little ink pad that I picked up from Hobby Lobby. It was $4.50. I'm sure these can be bought somewhere else cheaper. I don't know. I don't even think I got this on sale. I can't remember. I just know I picked it up and I thought, because I want to try doing some stamps. So I'm going to give this a shot. And then I'm going to put it on this little plastic, this little top sheet it came with. Okay, not too bad for my first time, I don't think. A little rustic, got some black on the side, but that's okay. I'll paint over that.
And right here, I'm just getting off some of that ink that had gotten on the plastic piece. That way it doesn't transfer back onto the jar.
That one was even better.
And then whenever I'm done with the stamp, I just take some water and a towel and I just clean up that ink. That way it doesn't dry on there. And then I just decided to take some of the little leaves that it came with and just put them on. I have no rhyme or reason for where I'm putting them. I'm just really throwing them on there in spots where I'm hoping it looks good, and I do think it ends up turning out very nicely. And then after I stamp the lid, I will put a Minwax water-based sealer on top, and I have a picture of it right here. And then this project is complete.
Well, Dollar Tree tool at its finest. Nice.